Tony Khan gets called out for trying to take full credit for AEW's creation. Is CM Punk worth any value to the WWE ahead of contract renegotiations? A WWE Hall of Famer sends a heartwarming message to Triple H. Why Bianca Belair is not a single star right now? Logan Paul gets called out for skipping WWE's tour in Japan. Nia Jax claims Bayleys WWE career never had any memorable moments. Sasha Banks was never able to back up her arrogance. Let's dive right in. Brock Lesnar will never return to WWE. Brock Lesnar has been away from WWE for a while, and there's no tentative return date set for the Beast incarnate. Meanwhile, wrestling veteran Dutch Mantell believes the former UFC star won't return to the promotion. Earlier this year, there were plans in place for Brock Lesnar to return to the Stamford-based promotion. Unfortunately, plans changed, and the Beast incarnate has been absent from weekly television for nearly a year. Speaking on Story Time with Dutch Mantell, the veteran was evaluating CM Punk's worth to WWE compared to other notable names. During this, Mantell stated that Punk is worth a lot, but not more than Lesnar. Moreover, he believes the Beast incarnate won't return to WWE. I say he's CM Punk worth less than Brock. I don't think Brock Lesnar is coming back, Mantell said. Mantell, like many others, is curious to see what's next for the Beast incarnate. The former manager's prediction could be wrong, as Triple H recently spoke about the former Universal Champion. Last year, Brock Lesnar was in an intense feud with Cody Rhodes, and the Beast incarnate put the American Nightmare over at the biggest party of the summer in Detroit. Earlier this year, controversy around the former UFC star made him go on a hiatus from WWE. Recently, Triple H met the mayor of London to discuss the possibility of hosting WrestleMania in the United Kingdom in the coming years. In an interview with MailSport, Hunter commented on the Beast incarnate's absence and stated he's open to a conversation. You'd have to ask Brock Lesnar that. Brock does his own thing, so he's up in Canada, I'm sure, watching his kids play hockey and enjoying life. If and when he decides that he would like to do something, we'd be open to the conversation, Hunter said. It'll be interesting to see what's next for the Beast incarnate, if he returns to the Stamford-based promotion sooner rather than later. The WWE's legal team on Brock Lesnar's WWE return. In the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that if Lesnar decides to approach WWE for a comeback, a major clearance would have to come from their legal team. For now, they have advised the regime to keep their distance from Brock Lesnar due to his name coming up in the Vince McMahon-Janelle Grant sex trafficking lawsuit. Meltzer stated that although the belief can change in the future, whether Brock Lesnar's return to WWE would happen would depend on their legal team's approval or rejection. If Brock Lesnar calls WWE and says, "I want to come back for WrestleMania this year," it's up to the lawyers. They have advised us to keep our distance from Brock right now due to the ongoing legal issues. This situation could change, and they might determine that enough time has passed for us to consider bringing him back. It's not as simple as deciding to bring Brock back. It's all about the legal circumstances. If Brock returns, it's because the lawyers have given their approval, and if he doesn't, it's because they haven't. Initially, Lesnar was slated to participate in the Royal Rumble event, but his plans were disrupted by legal issues related to Vince McMahon's trafficking lawsuit. But in an interview with MailSport, WWE CCO Triple H was asked about Lesnar's potential return to WWE. He stated that the decision ultimately rests with Lesnar himself. Brock Lesnar is currently in Canada, likely spending time with his family and enjoying life, so we will have to wait and see if his return does come to fruition in the future. Is CM Punk worth any value to the WWE ahead of contract renegotiations? WWE superstar CM Punk has been a major attraction for the company since his blockbuster return last year. He is scheduled to face Drew McIntyre in a massive singles encounter at SummerSlam 2024. Earlier this week, WrestlePurist reported that Punk was in talks with WWE about restructuring his deal. The Second City Saint was working on a short-term deal signed moments before he returned at Survivor Series, War Games 2023, and the two parties would be renegotiating a more detailed contract. While speaking on his Story Time with Dutch Mantell podcast this week, wrestling veteran Dutch Mantell mentioned that Punk was a huge needle mover for WWE in merchandise sales. He pointed out that the Second City Saint probably sold a ton of merchandise whenever the company was in his hometown of Chicago. The veteran detailed how those sales could make up for his salary in the long run. How's his gimmicks doing? Good? See, they get your worth up right off the bat. If you can sell those gimmicks out there, because they make a killing off those gimmicks. Like in Chicago, there's no telling how much merchandise he sells just in Chicago alone, not counting online stuff and the other live events they do. But that gets all figured in his total pay. Some guys may sell enough gimmicks to pay their whole salary. Hard to believe, isn't it? Dutch Mantell said. This week, CM Punk represented WWE at the San Diego Comic-Con. He spoke with media outlets about his merchandise and new action figure reveals. Punk claimed that he had a lot of tattoos, making it a nightmare for action figure companies to add them to his action figures. The straight-edge superstar was happy to be back with WWE and hoped the companies would make more toys in his likeness in the future. Now that CM Punk is a prominent member of the roster, it will be interesting to see the kind of deal he gets from WWE. A WWE Hall of Famer sends a heartwarming message to Triple H. WWE received a new lease of life when Triple H took over the creative duties and changed the landscape of the weekly product. Today, Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels sent a heartwarming message to his best friend on his 55th birthday. Triple H has been the backbone of the new era, which he and Nick Khan started after Vince McMahon stepped down from the company. Many had already witnessed the game's creative genius on the former Black and Gold brand, and the King of Kings has been firing on all cylinders on the main roster. Today, the 14-time world champion celebrated his 55th birthday, and several current and past wrestlers wished the game. One of Triple H's best friends, Shawn Michaels, sent a heartwarming message to him and spoke highly of the new era in WWE. "We've been through it all together, my friend. Excited to follow your lead into this new era of WWE. You ain't seen nothing yet? Happy birthday, Triple H," Michaels wrote. Almost 3 decades ago, Shawn Michaels was at the top of the food chain, and Triple H had started his career at the Stamford-based promotion. The Game and the Heartbreak Kid have been close friends since then. However, friendship with Shawn Michaels at the time came with a cost, and Triple H always stood by his friend, despite that. During an appearance on Logan Paul's Impulsive, the 4-time WWE World Champion detailed why he's never left the Game's side as a friend and confidant. He said that at the time, he was on top of the world and the most hated person in the industry. His friend Triple H, who hadn't yet broken out as a star, never left his corner. It would have been the most convenient thing to do for the lesser-known wrestler. These were the kind of bonds that Michaels held dear to his heart and would go to any lengths for his best friend. "I know everybody can only see him now as the head cheese, but he wasn't then. I was the top dude at that time, and he was the guy still waiting for his first break. And he was a friend of mine. He was the best friend of the most hated guy in the company and in the business. And he never left my side. He could have thrown me under the bus at any point, saved himself. You know what I mean? For me, that's the kind of stuff I can cry about. But how can I not give every ounce of myself for whatever he needs me to do?" said Michaels. Why Bianca Belair is not a single star right now. Bianca Belair has been in a tag team with Jade Cargill in recent months on WWE SmackDown. WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry recently explained why the EST's absence from singles competition has helped the women's division. Belair moved to the main roster in 2020 after 4 years in the NXT developmental system. The former fitness competitor won the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble before defeating Sasha Banks in a main event match at WrestleMania 37. She is now a 3-time women's champion and 1-time tag team champion with Cargill. In an exclusive interview, Henry said the tag team partnership has worked well for both Belair and Cargill. He also believes other women have received opportunities in the limelight due to Belair moving to the tag division. "Oh yeah, most definitely Belair and Cargill have benefited from teaming up," Henry said. "Both of them. Bianca needed a tag situation, and Jade needed to learn how to use the system to help her. And she's learning by osmosis a lot of times because she's watching Bianca, and Bianca is having second life and not having to be in a program with nobody major. So other girls are getting over. The girls, they're getting over because they're allowed to get over. Because if Bianca was a singles competitor, you would have to put the title on her, or put her in the running for the title." Although he had a 30-year WWE in-ring career, The Undertaker only won 7 world titles. Mark Henry believes the dead man did not need to win championships due to his character's unique presentation. In Bianca Belair's case, he thinks WWE's decision-makers sometimes need to remove her from the title picture to prevent others from being overshadowed. "When you're Belair that good, you gotta find other ways for everybody to get reps," Henry said. Taker didn't have the title much. On August 2nd, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill will challenge Alba Fire and Isla Dawn for the Women's Tag Team Championship on SmackDown. What do you make of WWE's booking of Bianca Belair? Logan Paul gets called out for skipping WWE's tour in Japan. WWE's recent Super Show tour in Japan delighted fans, though Logan Paul did not make the trip. His absence caught the attention of his SummerSlam opponent, LA Knight. Not to ever hold back on his opinion, Knight called out this fact in bold fashion. During the tour, LA Knight posed for the crowd and led them along with his trademark chant. He then noticed a WWE camera filming him for social media and remarked, "There's no Logan Paul, huh? I wonder where he is." Logan Paul's history with Japan is controversial. Years ago, he filmed a vlog in a Japanese suicide forest, which included showing a man hanging from a tree and using their reactions to promote the video. This incident likely influenced his decision to skip the tour. At the Crown Jewel event on November 4th, 2023, Logan Paul won the United States Championship using brass knuckles on Rey Mysterio, marking his first WWE title. His reign has been marked by scandals, including the Crypto Zoo controversy and his boxing match against Dylan Dennis. We'll see if LA Knight can defeat Logan Paul at SummerSlam. With Cleveland being Paul's home city, he will aim to impress his fans, but it could also be the setting where he loses his United States title. The outcome will unfold on August 3rd. What's your take on LA Knight and Logan Paul's recent feud? Do you think LA Knight will win the US title at SummerSlam? Nia Jax claims Bayleys WWE career never had any memorable moments. Nia Jax has been part of the WWE family for a long time now, and her current booking has certainly impressed fans. She is currently engaged in a program with Bayley, and has now claimed that Bayley's career isn't memorable at all. On the July 26th episode of WWE SmackDown, Nia Jax defeated Bayley in tag team match. While speaking in an interview with Byron Saxton on SmackDown Lowdown, Jax criticized Bayley's career, saying it lacked memorable moments. She confidently stated that she would make a big impact by winning the WWE Women's Championship from Bayley at SummerSlam. Jax said she didn't need more confidence because she already felt sure she would win at SummerSlam. She acknowledged Bayley's successful career, but questioned if any of her achievements were truly memorable. Jax promised that her match at SummerSlam would be unforgettable, as she planned to defeat Bayley and become the new women's champion and queen of the ring. As a matter of fact, I'm always confident. I didn't need any more confidence. I have all the confidence that I'm gonna beat Bayley at SummerSlam, said Jax. You know, I'll give it to Bayley. She's had quite the career. But I mean, if you really think about it, is any of it memorable? She's the champ right now. She's been a Grand Slam champ for a little bit. But can you really just pinpoint any kind of memorable moment Bayley's ever had? But it will be memorable when I squash her at SummerSlam and become your new women's champion, and also your queen of the ring. Aren't you so lucky? Nia Jax's match at SummerSlam will also mark the first time she even comments at the biggest party of the summer. In the meantime, fans can expect Nia Jax to continue going after Bayley until SummerSlam next month. What do you think of what Nia Jax had to say? Do you believe never had a single memorable moment? Sasha Banks was never able to back up her arrogance. Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks during her WWE tenure, has carved out a significant presence in the wrestling industry. With that said, a former WWE personality has now claimed that Mo was never able to back up her arrogance in WWE. Mercedes Moné notably walked out of WWE in May 2022, alongside Naomi. Her departure was reportedly attributed to creative frustrations and concerns about her position within the women's division. Mercedes Moné even claimed that she has creative control in AEW, but further added that she still works together with Tony Khan. However, her statement did raise quite a few eyebrows. While speaking on Reffin' It Up, former WWE personality Jonathan Coachman criticized Mercedes Moné, suggesting that she failed to live up to her self-proclaimed arrogance during her WWE tenure. Coachman, who made his comments on a podcast, implied that Moné's behavior and claims about her perks in AEW, such as using a private jet and having creative control, might be exaggerated. Coachman questioned why Moné received such privileges, implying that if AEW's Tony Khan really gave her those perks, it would reflect poorly on him. Coachman also criticized Moné's promo skills, stating that she struggles on the microphone and has been outperformed by other wrestlers like Britt Baker. According to Coachman, Moné's inability to back up her confidence with strong performances is a key reason why she didn't succeed in WWE, and he suggested that she is now being exposed in AEW because her weekly mic segments are not well received by fans. I saw Mercedes Moné do an interview, and by the way, I don't really want to insult her too much, but AEW people already hate me anyway, and she said that they gave her creative control. She said, "When I'm on the movie set, when I want the private jet, Tony lets me use it whenever I want." Well, no wonder she didn't last in the WWE. Why would she ever get a private jet to use? Which I don't believe to be true, but if he is that stupid, then that's on Tony Khan. But to say she's the biggest signing they've ever had and she's the best diva or whatever, she's terrible on the microphone. It takes 2 seconds to listen to her cut a promo, and the other day Britt Baker just ran circles around her in their promo segment when Britt came back. Looked amazing, by the way. That's what a star looks like. You gotta be able to back it up with the arrogance, and Mercedes has never been able to do that in the WWE. I don't know why Tony Khan, but hey, she made all the money, but now she's getting exposed because they're giving her her own mic segments every week, and it's not good. And that's why the crowd the other day told her to shut up. The crowd knows. You gotta be able to talk and work, and she can't talk. and that's why sometimes she comes on, I turn it off. Mercedes Moné also bragged about getting lucrative contracts from various promotions before joining AEW, but she was accused of manipulating Tony Khan. Nevertheless, Mercedes Moné will continue to be a huge star in AEW, and that's unlikely to change anytime soon. Do you agree with what Jonathan Coachman had to say about Mercedes Moné? Tony Khan gets called out for trying to take full credit for AEW's creation. AEW has been around since 2019, but many felt that the 2018 All-In event was what truly kickstarted the revolution that led to AEW. However, Tony Khan has now been called out for trying to take full credit for AEW's creation. Earlier this month, Cody Rhodes admitted he hated the fact that the Young Bucks mentioned he was the last to sign, a detail that some AEW defenders used to diminish his role in the promotion's origin. Rhodes clarified that he was actually the first to meet Tony Khan during a vetting process for all of them. I hated that in the Young Bucks book they said I was last to the signing, because that's a big thing. Some of the AEW defenders, who don't realize they're turning people off to their product more than they're turning people on, that's one of the things that people always cite, oh, he was last. He wasn't that big a deal to the origin. No, this guy here, who's off camera, was the first person to ever meet Tony, and he met him in a vetting process for all of us. So yes, I guess I was the last, and yes, I had different thoughts, and it's not incorrect at all what they said, that I was physically the last person to sign. Yeah, it's not incorrect, but I was just in on it as well as anybody else. That's a little thing that when I write my book, I get to tell the story. However, AEW president Tony Khan would then claim that he had the idea for AEW back in April 2018. While speaking on a recent episode of the Gigantic Pop podcast, Matt Morgan criticized Tony Khan for attempting to alter the story about the origins of AEW. Morgan claimed that Khan has been trying to reshape the narrative by suggesting he had been planning AEW long before it became widely known. Khan said something along the lines of having approached the head of TNT 6 months prior, aiming to place himself more prominently in the early stages of AEW's creation. He tries to change the narrative by saying, because a lot of people always thought that's how that went, but that's not really how it goes. Like, I've been wanting to do AEW. I went to the head of TNT 6 months before that. He said something like that. So he tried to change the narrative and get him in there a little bit more to the beginning of the genesis of AEW. Morgan pointed out that AEW's debut in Chicago was a massive success, with a sold-out arena and high demand for tickets and pay-per-view access. He emphasized that the enthusiasm for AEW demonstrated a strong desire for a new cable wrestling company. Morgan criticized Khan for trying to claim credit as if he had been involved before Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, calling out Khan's attempt to rewrite the history of AEW's inception. Now, you saw a sold-out arena in Chicago, and everybody wanted to see it. It was the hottest thing in the business that year. Everybody was flocking to want to go get a ticket or see it on pay-per-view, and it was a mass monster success, showing that everybody wanted to see another cable television company. And then you came in because you're the guy with the money. So he's trying to act like he was before Cody Rhodes and the Bucks getting this set up. Get the hell out of here, Tony. Cody Rhodes also clarified criticism for his Young Bucks comment. Regardless, everyone had their own contributions for AEW, and Tony Khan was not the sole person responsible for AEW's inception, and that's all that matters. What do you think of what Matt Morgan had to say? Do you believe Tony Khan was trying to take credit for AEW in general?